Do you follow your own objectives or do you follow the objectives of someone else? We have a colleague asking us to do a favor for them. A manager says, "Oh, can we just move our one-on-one to today?" Or we have our boyfriend asking us to bring down the garbage truck. Or a seller for a product that we kind of think of buying at some point in the time calls us and says, "Oh, I wrote you already like 3 messages. Can we just have a call and I tell you a bit more about the product?" These are all examples of people that are asking about time from us. They're asking about our attention because they have specific objectives that they want to achieve. And with those objectives, they want something from us. But do we give in? Do we follow their demand for attention or do we not? If you sometimes find that yourself on the side of giving in to those demands a bit too often, then this video is for you. Because what I want to do is share with you some ideas and things that you can do to get back some of your time and follow those things that are important to you so that you're not getting too sidetracked by all these attention-seeking demands that are coming in during your day-to-day. During the day, there is so much that is asking our attention. And it's not only people, it's also some thoughts that we might have. It's a video that we watch. It's social media. There are so many things that ask our attention that it's sometimes really difficult to not follow. And so if you find yourself in that situation where you kind of get sidetracked a lot of times during your day, and then in the end of the day, it just doesn't feel good, then what can you do? So what you can do is, and that's one thing that helped me a lot, is to look at your calendar. And I do this not only during a whole week, but I also do this day by day by day. So I check in at the beginning and at the end of the day and say, okay, what do I want to achieve today? What is important to me? And then I have a very clear timeline of things that I necessarily want to do each day that I know will play into my objectives. And then if there are incoming, let's say, asks and demands, I deliberately check in and say, okay, is this really important? Is this something that plays into my objectives and plays into my values? And if it is, then I try to arrange it into my day to day. And if not, then I clearly say no. And I don't say, no, just fuck off in a way, but more in a nice way and say, hey, that doesn't work for me right now because it's not a priority for me at the moment. But for example, we can talk in 6 months or so. But deliberately taking time to focus on those things that are very important to me. But that sounds easy, right? But is it that easy? No, it isn't. Because very often they're still getting demands or we're getting demands and people ask us something of us and we get sidetracked of our goals that we have for the day. So what happens, for example, if your mom calls and she kind of asks us about something because she has an issue and it's not good, she's not really well. Do we then also say no because it doesn't play into our objectives? Maybe not. So what do we do then? Life gets us sidetracked, and that's fine. Life isn't perfect and it doesn't have to be. But if these things happen, so what can you do? Then it's not only about objectives, it's also about values. So what do you value? If you value friendships and family and those things are important to you, then get yourself sidetracked. If family and friends is so important for you and this is a value that you really value, that you really take care about, then you can talk to your mom and you can say, hey, is this really an issue that is important now? Then you have these 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 50 minutes to talk to your mom. And if you realize, okay, maybe we can do this tomorrow or another day, then you focus on this. But then you deprioritize some of those things that are really important to you because you say, okay, this is something, a value that is so important to me. I prioritize it up. And that might get sidetracked to you during the day, but you know that it plays into something more long-term. It plays into something that you value. And so it doesn't feel like attention seeking that you don't want to attend to, but something you want to attend to because you know that in the long term, it will make you way more content and way more like accomplishing something that is really dear to your heart. So some of your values that you care about. And so there isn't this perfect world of how to handle this. But I think those two things are very important. That one thing, like you look at what is really important to you during a day and you follow those things that are important to you during the day. And if something comes in where you clearly not value that or it just isn't important in that moment, then devalue, like not devalue it, but just gently say no and focus on the things that you care about and that you want to achieve during that day. Because otherwise, if you're following everything that comes in, all the attention that is coming in, then yeah, you will be completely sidetracked and there won't be any accomplishment at the end of the day and it won't feel good for you at all. So don't do this. Try to not do this. If it happens, and that's fine. And then you can just try it another day and make it better the other day. But try to deliberately decide, okay, is this something that really plays into my own objectives? Or is it something that really plays into my values? If that's the case, great. If it isn't the case, then say no. Because the more you say yes to something, even though you want to say no, the more at the end of the day you won't be happy. And even if it sometimes feels hard to say no and you kind of, want to be nice, I can advise you that don't do this too often because at some point you will feel exactly that feeling that you say, I follow the objectives of someone else, but I don't follow my own objectives. And I don't want to have you happen that to you. So for that reason, deliberately have a plan for the day. What do you want to achieve? And if you get completely sidetracked because you realize you follow someone else's attention demands and they're not playing into your values, then come back to yourself, realize that they're not playing into it, and gently say no. I hope that this video helps you and gives you some ideas and perspectives of how to handle demands that are coming in your day-to-day. And if you like the video, then I would be really happy if you subscribe or if you share the video with a friend. So if they also have similar topics that are coming up to their minds or some things that are going on in their life, then you can share it with them and maybe they find some benefit in it as well.